You're walking through a forest 40,000 years ago. You've been tracking animals all day. You're covered in sweat. Your clothes are made from animal skins. You haven't seen a shower, a bar of soap, or a bottle of deodorant in your entire life. By modern standards, you should smell absolutely terrible, right? Well, maybe not, because the truth is far stranger than most people imagine. Ancient humans probably didn't smell the way you're picturing, and in some ways, they may have smelled better than many people living in cities today. The first thing we have to do is forget everything we know about modern life. Today, we spend hours inside sealed buildings, wear the same shoes all day, cover ourselves in synthetic fabrics, and often rely on perfume to hide body odor instead of preventing it. Ancient humans lived almost entirely outdoors. Their bodies were exposed to fresh air, sunlight, rivers, rain, and wind every single day. They sweated constantly while walking, climbing, hunting, and gathering, but they also regularly entered streams, lakes, and rivers simply because water was part of everyday life. They didn't have soap, but they certainly weren't strangers to washing. Now, here's something most people never think about. Body odor isn't actually caused by sweat. Fresh sweat is almost odorless. The smell comes from bacteria living on your skin that break sweat down into different chemicals. In other words, sweat isn't the problem, it's what happens afterward, and the environment you live in changes those bacteria dramatically. Scientists today know that our skin microbiome is shaped by everything from clothing to hygiene habits to pollution. Ancient humans lived in a completely different microbial world than we do. But let's not pretend they smelled like fresh flowers either. Imagine spending days following a herd of animals across dusty grasslands. You're sleeping beside smoky campfires every night. You're wearing animal hides that have been scraped, dried, and softened by hand. Smoke probably clung to their hair and clothes constantly. If you had met one of them, the first thing you might have noticed wasn't sweat at all. It may have been the unmistakable smell of wood smoke, leather, earth, and the outdoors. Less like an unwashed gym locker, and more like someone who had spent months camping in the wilderness. Here's where things get interesting. Ancient humans had a huge advantage that we don't. They weren't squeezing onto crowded buses, sitting in overheated offices, or wearing the same pair of synthetic shoes for 12 hours a day. Most of their clothing was loose, breathable, and made from natural materials. They weren't trapping moisture against their skin the way modern fabrics often do. Ironically, some of the habits we think make us cleaner may actually create new kinds of body odor that our ancestors never experienced. And then there's something even stranger. To another ancient human, that smell probably wasn't unpleasant at all. Humans are incredibly adaptable. The scent of smoke meant warmth. The smell of animal hides meant clothing and survival. Even body odor itself may have carried useful information about health, family, or familiarity. What seems offensive to us today may simply have been normal to them. After all, if everyone around you smells roughly the same, nobody really stands out. So, how bad did ancient humans smell? The honest answer is that they probably smelled very different. Not necessarily much worse. Less like perfume and shampoo, more like smoke, leather, damp earth, and the natural world they lived in. It's another reminder that when we imagine ancient humans, we often judge them using modern standards. But they weren't trying to smell like us. They were simply surviving in a world where nature, not deodorant, defined what was normal.